We're gonna operate it
9,
only on Halloween.
You guys get all the cool stuff.
8, 5.
No comments.
I really do, Rich.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Kathleen, would you care to lead us in the pledge?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Determination of quorum.
Madam President, all 5 directors are here. You have a quorum.
Thank you. A motion for an approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Aye.
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 Aye. So approved. Public comment. Members of the public may address the board at this time with regard to matters within the board's jurisdiction that are not listed on the agenda. State law prohibits the board of directors from discussing or taking action on items not included on the agenda. Members of the public will have the opportunity for public comment on any item listed on the agenda when it is addressed on the agenda. Please limit comments to 3 minutes or less. Do I have any public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be adopted in total by one action of the Board of Directors unless any board member or any individual or organization interested in one or more consent calendar items wishes to be heard. Do I have a motion? Or
I move the consent calendar.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
aye?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Item 7, Resolution 16965, thanking Amy Falls for her service on the Citizens Advisory Committee. Recommend that the board approve Resolution 16965. And I'm going to read the resolution. Where's Amy?
Amy's not here.
She was here just a minute ago.
She's not here now. Karen was here.
Karen was
Mortensen
here.
was here.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to read the resolution. And then we can have a motion.
Okay.
Resolution number 16965, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Joshua Basin Water District expressing their appreciation for Amy Falls for her service to the Joshua Basin Water District. Whereas Amy Falls has served the community of Joshua Tree as a member of the Citizens Advisory Committee of the Joshua Basin Water District from May 28, 2013 until September 17, 2016. And whereas Amy Falls has been dedicated in providing the Joshua Basin Water District with her expertise and analysis of situations and elements that impact our most precious resource. And whereas Amy Falls consistently acknowledged water as our most precious resource and committed herself diligently towards the Joshua Basin Water District in its mission to provide a high standard of water quality to the community and to protect the water resources. And whereas Amy Falls gave her time and support to the district and has decided to resign from the Joshua Basin Water District Citizens Advisory Committee. And whereas Amy Falls will be remembered as a valued member of the Joshua Basin Citizens Advisory Committee. New, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Joshua Basin Water District does hereby express its appreciation and gratitude to Amy Falls for her time, integrity, dedication, and support for the Joshua Basin Water District. And further resolved that the Joshua Basin Water District Board of Directors does hereby wish Amy and her family the very best. Adopted this 7th day of September 2016 in Joshua Tree, California. Joshua Basin Water District, Tori Fuller Kurtzauer. And I personally like to thank Amy. It takes a dedication and being willing to spend the amount of time to not only come to the meetings for the Citizens Advisory Committee, but also to do the research necessary to really give informed opinions on it. And any discussion from the board?
No, thank you for doing a great job. I've served on that for a while, and it is a commitment. So really thank her for doing it.
Yes. Kurt? Do I have a motion?
I
Anybody
move,
else want to talk?
Did you want it?
I move that we approve the resolution 16965, thanking Amy Falls for her service on the Citizens Advisory Committee.
I'll second that motion, and it's a shame she's not here to receive it, but having been on the Citizens Advisory Committee before, it's a lot of work.
Yes.
And it takes time and thought, and should be missed.
Yes. I was on it for 2 years. It is a lot of work, commitment. We have a motion and a second.
Aye.
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 So passed. Thank you. Item 8, capacity fee report. Was to be Susan, staff.
Yeah, Susan is out sick, as is Seth. And so the general manager is going to do this annual capacity fee report. And the recommendation is that you review the capacity fee report and accept and file it. It's a routine matter that we go through every year. So there's a detailed reports attached about the water and the wastewater sewer capacity fees. The quarterly financial reports provide the balances in each of the funds on a periodic basis. But the attached reports provide additional detail about beginning and ending capacity fund balances, additional deposits into the funds, interest earned, and projects completed with the funds, if any. On the second page of this item is the water capacity charges account. And we started the year with $57,048. We received payment for 5 meters, which led to a total of $19,446 additional dollars into the capacity fund, water capacity fund. And the interest earned was $217.06. There were no public improvements funded from these charges, so our ending capacity charge fund balance is $76,711. On the next page is the sewer capacity fund, and we started that fund balance at the start of the fiscal year 15-16 with $446,846,000. We collected $76,925 from High Desert Medical Center as part of the agreement that'll be that amount of money each year for 10 years. Our interest is $1,805 for an ending balance of $525,576. And that's the end of the report. If you have any questions, make them simple.
I think it's very self-explanatory. Any questions from the board?
Nope.
If we're not doing any public improvements with the money, what are we doing with it?
The funds are used for future new facilities, and so it's being held in reserve, basically.
Facilities being?
Water line, water tanks, any new booster stations, things like that.
Capital improvement?
Yes, if they're new.
Thank you.
Any public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. We don't need a motion on this. This is information only. So
You can-
unless I see any further.
You can accept and file if you'd like.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll
to
move that
accept?
we accept and file the capacity fee report that Susan Greer kindly made up and the general manager recited.
Kindly recited.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye,
Aye.
so accepted. Item 9, water account assistance programs and comparison. Kurt Sauer.
Okay, so the recommendation is that the board direct the general manager to amend the existing regulations with 2 changes. Keeping the existing protocol with the exception that we changed the name of the program to Customer Account Assistance Program, or the CAP. And 2, adopt the 25% deduction guideline used by High Desert. So if you'll recall at the last meeting, Director Reynolds mentioned that he had talked with someone and that there was a customer assistance program in High Desert for those people experiencing high bills due to leaks. And this is something that I had intended to bring to the board anyway, because I believe that our district's policy, which is the Water Account Assistance Program, or the WAP, takes a high degree of staff time to implement, and it is the most generous of the 3 districts in the basin, resulting in loss of revenue to the district. There are 3 policies on this issue in the Morongo Basin. 29 Palms policy is if water goes through your meter, then you pay for it. I think in 29 Palms, the program is known as the Retired Marine Drill Sergeant Plan. The other 2 plans require that you fix the leaks and that you have a cost-free water survey conducted by the district inside and outside of your home to help you find other leaks and reduce water consumption. High Desert's policy is if you have high water use for 1 or 2 months due to leaks, an adjustment of no greater than 25% of water usage may be approved by the department supervisor. Adjustments may only be given 1 time on an account unless otherwise approved by the general manager or the board of directors. If the cause of the excessive consumption is a result of a leak that the customer was unaware of and the customer can show proof of repair, and they also require that if the district has contacted the account holder regarding a leak and action was delayed, the account is not eligible for an adjustment. The customer is responsible for paying the remaining bill, and the payment plans of up to 3 months can be worked out with customer service, or longer with the approval of the general manager. Our policy is if you have a high read due to an unknown or accidental origin, up to 2 months, and the bill is $400 more than it was compared to the previous year's same month, you're eligible for a deduction in the bill up to half of the bill, not to exceed $800, and no more than 2 applications in a 5-year period can be applied for, accepted. So looking at 2 examples that have actually happened in the district this past year. Customer A was over a 2-month period used 650 units of water. The bill was $2,426 versus $232 from the previous year. The 29 Palms program is you pay your bill. The High Desert program is they take 25% of the water used off of the bill, so that the bill would now be $1,980. Our program is the difference in the bill is more than $400, so the account's eligible. The difference between this year and last year is $2,194. 50% of that is $1,097. The customer is eligible to receive an $800 credit on the bill as a maximum, so the bill is now $1,626. Customer B, over a 1-month period, they used 447 units. The bill was $1,842 versus $121 from the previous year, the previous month. 29 Palms, of course, is pay your bill. High Desert, take 25% off. The bill is now $1,357. And we go through our process, which requires either Susan or my time to do all the analysis. And the difference between the bill this year and last year is $1,720. 50% is $860. So they'd be eligible for $800 allowance on their bill. In this example, Joshua Basin Water District is recovering $315 less in revenue compared to High Desert's program and $800 less than in 29 Palms. So adopting the changes will maintain a program to assist customers with unknown water usage, increase revenue each year by approximately $5,000, and reduce staff time needed to complete the comparisons. So we have a program. It is working. I think that it takes more staff time to analyze all the different figures than the system that they use in High Desert. And if we adopted the system that's used in High Desert, we would generate a bit more revenue from water that's been going through the meter. So that's my report, and I'm willing to answer any questions.
Questions?
And my perception of listening to these over the years is that many of these people who get that assistance live out of the area and don't have anyone looking at their property and make sure there are no leaks.
I would say that most of the people that that have the undetected leaks are folks from out of the area. But
Here.
the second example is a customer that's lived here for over 40 years. And that particular leak was at the far end of her 5-acre parcel where she never goes. And she actually, that $1,800 bill was more than she pays in a full year. So it also benefits the residents, but most of the applicants are for out of town.
Kurt, I have a question. Just curious, if you have that information handy, how many people have taken advantage of our program in the last year?
In the last year, I think it's approximately 6. It runs anywhere from 2 to 10 over the years that we looked at.
What are our thoughts of how can I say, me personally, I'm in the field and I see this often, and how many people do you think that have experienced these kind of losses actually know about the program? Is there any way of...
I'd say most of the customers have been notified in various mailings over the years. We can certainly put that on the monthly bill and the little bulletin board, reminding folks of the assistance program. So certainly not everybody knows about it.
I think it's good that we have that program. I remember, didn't we vote on that years and years and years ago? I thought that sounded awful familiar. And it is complicated. It sounded wonderful when we adopted it back in the day, and I'm all for simplifying it. But I would like to find a way to make it available to people that are experiencing these problems, that there is a program available, rather than, well, you just should know about it, or we sent you a letter. I think there just should be some kind of a way to get that information across, especially if or when something like that happens. I don't know if there's a way to tie that in with a bill. You know, dear sir, you have a high water bill, you ought to check into it. And did you know that there's a program just in case you need it? I would just like to see that available. In my travels, when I run into people that have these problems, they're devastated. Holy mackerel, I just got an $800 water bill. What do I do? And that's what made me so excited when the customer in Yucca Valley, when he told me that, first of all, the water district brought it to his attention that he may be having a water leak. And then they also brought it to his attention that there is a program.
We also do that when we do the high reads. If you have a high read compared to the previous month, we notify you and we tell you about the program.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm after.
Yeah.
But it's still just the people that have the leaks, right? So.
Right. That's all I have.
Yeah, I really like the idea of simplifying the program, and I think it's important that we still are providing assistance, but I think it needs to be a little bit clearer. I like the 25% that, you know, everyone can kind of understand where that's going. And I think it's important to remember that, you know, it's not that we're collecting more revenue, but it's whatever that is being paid for by other water users. So we're trying to help people, but not make it an undue burden. So I like maintaining the spirit, and I think the simplifying it would be great. Jonathan?
I think this is not a bad idea. I just want us to be cognizant of the fact that we do have a lot of low-income folks out there that we need to be, I think, sensitive to. And as Gil alluded to, I think it was a month or two ago, a whole different category of folks. But, you know, leaks are leaks. 2 months versus 3 months with high desert. Why couldn't we do 3 months?
No, theirs is up to 2 months as well.
Well, it says right here 3. It says the consumer is responsible for paying the remaining bill. Payment plans up to 3 months can be worked out with the customer service.
Oh, we can do that too. I thought you meant if they had 3 months' worth of leaks.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Well, it would be at least 3 months, and then at the discretion of the general manager or staff, extending the time if necessary.
Yeah, and I like
Yeah,
Mike's
that's
idea, and I
it.
think we need to advertise probably the webpage or something, or website that we could do something. Certainly the farmer's market is a good venue. But, yeah, it's a tough situation when you're out of town and that hose is on. Yeah, been there. Yeah, and I live here.
Well, that's you leaving your hose on, not some
That's
catastrophic
true.
leak. That's operator error.
Look at the source, yeah.
And so and these are things where you do verify that it's a leak. I mean, the person has to repair a leak, they've got a huge water bill, and maybe not be a big revenue builder for us, but saving staff time. We keep you guys busy enough. You know,
Second
whatever
that.
you think saves time and still fair.
Does it have to be a leak, or can it be the hose that's left on?
No,
It seemed to
the
me you
way-
could do either way.
The way ours is written is due to an unknown or accidental origin. So unknown is a leak, accidental
Oh,
is
that's
leaving a hose on,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
going out of town when your high school kids are having a
Doesn't it
party.
say also, you show proof that it was, the
Repair.
repair was made? Okay.
Including turning off the hose.
Or tell them little hands, no, no, no.
Any public comment? See
Wide
none?
audience today.
Public comment is closed. Any further discussion?
This is really just refers to leaks, or like someone shears off, there's an accident, someone shears off a hydrant on the side of the house or something like that, which is kind of catastrophic.
Could be, yeah, unknown or accidental.
It includes the hose, too.
I mean, I can do something stupid
It allows people to
and
be
get my water
stupid.
bill reduced.
It allows people to be
Once.
people. Once.
Remember, you get to be stupid once,
You get a
not
one-shot
twice.
deal.
Yeah, you're one shot stupid.
Okay, I'll
Um,
save it up.
Do we then want to bring this back formally, or do we want to
If
make a
you
motion
direct-
now?
Yeah, direct the general manager to bring back a resolution amending amending the regulations.
Okay.
Well, being as how I asked for it, I would like to ask for it again.
I'll second that.
If Mike gets it,
Yeah.
Aye?
aye.
Aye.
Do we have to vote?
We are
Is
voting.
it an extra?
Aye.
Thank you. Stillman? All right. Standing committee reports. Finance committee, well, I'm going to start with Finance committee meeting.
It was an exciting morning. I encourage each and every one to come. We had a great audience, great participation, public outreach. I think we're reaching our max with the room size, but nevertheless, we're keeping track of our money, and thank one and all for coming.
Water resources.
Water Resources was much more, of course, Bob's on both, and we had the same group of people for that we had for the...
Standing room only?
Yeah, standing room only for the Finance Committee.
We should take all the chairs out.
That's a
But,
good way to do it.
yeah, it's really, actually, that's an interesting meeting,
Yeah.
to hear what's going on.
Yeah.
Very
A little
cool.
more detail there. And I think it helps having the two together so that if
Yeah.
people are interested in it, you don't have to look to miss a lot of time. You come to one, you get two for the price of one.
Two for the price of
I
one.
direct people to these meetings because they always have questions about, how do we know you guys are honest? And I say, my gosh, the meetings are open. Come and ask them at questions at the Finance Committee.
Yep.
The books are open. You know, what are we doing with equipment and facilities? Those meetings are open.
Legislative and Public Information Committee meeting, Kathleen.
Would you include the, I can't find my notes, and I don't remember the either that or Tom can tell us.
Kirk remembers it.
I just remember that it's very scary.
Would you speak to it? Very scary, the number that we don't remember, the AB bill.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right. I'll defer to
I'm
Mickey in her
intrigued.
report. We had a very good meeting this morning, the Legislative and Public Information Committee meeting. Sorry you all missed it. This is National Emergency Preparedness Month. Think water. Think water. no water, we're in trouble, okay? Be thinking about that when you go home. What if there was no water? It's all month. The farmer's market theme coincides with our newsletter about the aquifer and replenishing it, and a lot of people still don't grasp how an aquifer works, so we're trying to educate them. I have a little mocked-up model at the market showing them how we have different layers and how it gets more expensive if we have to draw water from lower layers of the aquifer, and they're getting it because it's visual, so that's working out very well. We completed our 4-part wildcrafting education session on growing native plants, which obviously reduce water use, and it was well received, well attended, and I've gained new volunteers from it for our next Water Education Day for training the public on how to do native plant potting, etc. So that is, for me, a measure of it's information that people are embracing and they're enjoying it. The Best in Blue annual awards through Aqua encourages all water districts to submit their best game, and we submitted on our native plant program with the National Park this year. Actually, you have to do it for the year before. And so that went in, and whether we win or not, it's pretty impressive, and a lot of hard work went into it. A lot of negotiation with the federal solicitors, and we had our own attorney donate his time in setting that all up. Everyone has given a lot to make this project go forward, and it is going forward. So anyway, whether or not we place, they're going to read how awesome we are. And lastly, in our garden are 14 new interpretive signs to help educate. One I heard about is on firescaping, how we are not to put burning things next to barbecues. So take a stroll in our fall garden. It is fall. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathleen. District General Counsel isn't with us this evening. General Manager report.
Okay. Wanda Statham, who's President and CEO of the Yucca Valley Chamber of Commerce, dropped off some flyers for a workshop that are on the table out in the lobby, I believe. And the workshop, free workshop, is on how to testify with impact at public meetings. Beginning on September 13th from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at the Copper Mountain College. The workshop's open to the public and will feature a panel of elected officials who will offer their own do's and don'ts, and will give specific examples of speaker presentations at past community meetings. So if you want more information, take one of the flyers. I'd like to introduce to the board tonight Brian Winwood, who's a Joshua Tree resident and a realtor. He's expressed interest in perhaps being on the Citizens Advisory Committee since Amy has resigned. We're certainly need another person. And he's here tonight, and he'll attend the next Citizens Advisory Committee and try and understand what we do and whether or not he's interested. So thank you, Brian, for your interest.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes, welcome.
Okay, Keith. Water use, water conservation. Next slide. So, here we go. Remember, we have zero mandatory conservation, but the board passed a voluntary conservation target of 20% from June through January. And in August, we conserved 13% compared to what we consumed in August of 2013. So for the 3 months of June, July, and August, we're at a cumulative savings of 14.456, almost 15, so we're 75% towards our goal. And it will, of course, get more difficult to get those numbers up as we move into the cooler season. So whether or not we can make 20% voluntary conservation is discussable, but we're at 13%.
Gosh, we had no rain this summer, so I think everybody did good.
Right. Most
Even if they
everybody.
leave their hose.
I'm blaming little hands.
I thought he was looking at me.
You don't have little hands.
Order.
And I want to bring to the attention of the board that the next board meeting is scheduled for September 21st. 2 board members are scheduled to be out of town, and so we can have a meeting with 3 for a quorum, or you might want to reschedule maybe the week of the 26th. I don't know the schedule, so if you want to think about that and let me know, we can always cancel the regular meeting and have a special meeting. And let's see, Nextera. I'm meeting with the project manager of Nextera. Seth and I are meeting with the project manager tomorrow on site. We'll be discussing where they're going to take, from where they are going to take their water. It will be off of a hydrant on Sunfair rather than a hydrant on 4th Street. The county permit is not requiring any fire hydrants for this project because they're not building any structure, they're not building any structures that require fire protection, and it's also the parcel is served by 3 separate hydrants along Sunfair. They intend to start a fencing project in September and demolition of the existing structures in September, and the fencing project may well go into October, and then their actual construction of the solar panels will start in January, and they expect to have it completed by June.
Even with the lawsuits, they're going ahead.
There aren't any lawsuits yet, but I imagine that they're proceeding. End of report.
Thank you very much. Future director meetings. Mojave Water Agency Board of Directors, September 8th,
That's me.
that's Rebecca. And ASBCSD, September 19th at 6 PM at the Castaway Restaurant in San Bernardino.
That's me.
That's my quotes. And other than that, we don't have any upcoming meetings before the next one that I know about. Director reports on meetings attended, comments, future agenda items. I'll start, Rebecca?
I went to Mojave Water Agency last week, August 25th. Meeting gavelled in for 30-ish, so everyone could sit down. Roger Mays, a High Desert Water District Director and also a pastor, he gave a very somber invocation. And he started out giving appreciation for the Mojave Agency Board and their staff. He had said he had presided over 3 very recent tough memorials that made him feel he needed to appreciate people just a little more, tell them while they're here. And he also offered prayers for the flood and fire and the quake victims. Public comment, Ken Anderson introduced himself. He's running against a 16-year incumbent Richard Hall for the 3rd District seat. Anderson previously rep for County Soups Mitzelfeld, Loving Good. He was on the Phelan Pinion Hills Community Services District. He said he sold his family business to go on a mission in Russia. And per an article in the Desert Trail newspaper, it was noted he asked for the ballot designation of parent of 7. New business, all they had was an annual conflict of interest policy. The only thing, they changed they increased the limit to $460 for gifts. They didn't add any additional reporting categories. Director's comments, Jim Ventura, our representative, Division 2, went to the Lucerne Valley for a meeting about small water systems. They've got about 10 to 12 small producers out there with 30 to 350 connections each. Many complained of bad water, poor pressure. A rep for the state revolving fund was there. There was some talk of the advantage in consolidating some of these little producers. 4 to 6 systems already have interties, could do it. There's possible $60,000 help to help with some of these connections. Doug Shumway, Board Secretary, Division 7 Director, not running for re-election, being replaced by Thurston Smitty Smith, who ran unopposed and was appointed in lieu of an election. Smith spent 10 years in Hesperia City Government, 2 years Park and Rec, 8 years City Council. And I believe Kimberly Cox had also been, she went She's on the LAFCO
Yeah.
board. And then there were no department reports ahead of a closed session on property negotiations that was anticipated to be very lengthy. And 4:50, the meeting was adjourned.
Wow, that was a quick meeting.
It was.
That is quick.
That's my report. And one of the things we talked about today in the legislative public information was different laws coming down from the state. And one of them, Tom brought it up, was about kind of like about water shaming even. And on the surface, it with much more deeper repercussions for how it will affect water districts. And we're watching that. And also too, Gil had talked about this many times, down the Yorba Linda Water District, they had, they increased their monthly water rates as an urgency measure. Well, there was a action against that by citizens, and an Orange County judge ruled that a local water district may increase monthly water rates as an urgency measure without going through the 218 process. So that was kind of shocking. So it said they also found that essential government function is providing safe, clean, potable water, and it might be impaired if the referendum against the rate increase were allowed to proceed. So, interesting.
Director Johnson.
I've already reported on the Finance Committee and the Water Resource. On a serious note, though, these committees are extremely important. If we really want to know where our money's going and what the district's looking at down the road, it's a great opportunity for folks to come in and actually see. I would like the 21st of September to be moved, since I'm one of those board members that was hoping to be out of the area. And just want to say that I think we're doing fairly well with our water conservation. I think it's been an extremely hot summer, at least in my opinion. It's been warmer than usual. And I think we've stepped up. I think we are showing ourselves what we can do. And I think we have some challenges ahead. I just want to be an encourager and say, let's be water wise and be water smart about our business. The Citizens Advisory Committee is a good thing to do. Been there, done that. And so, Brian.
Yeah, real quick question, not that I have any idea how much time you guys put into it, but I heard commitment of time, not that I completely object. Well, compared for you two that have been on the advisory committee, how does it compare time-wise or commitment compared to actually being on the board?
Tell you what, after we close the meeting, we'll tell you that. Thank you.
See how comfortable those chairs are.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Director Reynolds.
Oh, thank you. I don't have any meetings to report, but I do have, over the weekend, I went on a lake tour on my motorcycle. And so I went to Silverwood Lake, and I went to the back way up to Lake Arrowhead, Grass Valley Lake, and then Big Bear. And I was particularly taking notice, I was looking at some of the fire damage, and it was very sad. But back to the lakes, Silverwood was full. And that's a Mojave Water Agency water storage, and
Yes.
it was full. It was pretty cool. Grass Valley Lake was, I think there was more in my coffee cup.
Oh, God.
It was pretty much dry. And Arrowhead, stopped at Arrowhead for breakfast, and it was extremely low. I've never seen it so low in all my life. And again, docks are dry. Places where hundreds of boats would be docked and stored, there's no place to put your boat. They have to move them somewhere. Big Bear, the same thing. It was just, I think it was even lower this week than it was a few weeks ago that I reported. And it's very sad. And then I came home, and as I was on the 10 freeway, and I passed through Whitewater, it was a raging river. There was a tremendous amount of water barreling underneath the freeway at Whitewater. And so I thought that was curious, because doesn't that come from Big Bear?
It's Colorado River.
Yeah, it's Colorado River through there. You'll see there's a pipeline that comes.
Interesting. Yeah, there was just a
That
lot
they
of water.
released that much is interesting.
Yes, so that's all I have to report. I went to look at water.
Thank you.
Good choice, thank you.
Okay, talking about conserving water, I switched to all drip irrigation in my yard. I worked with the guy who is my landscaper, and he came up with some great solutions, so I'm looking forward to seeing my water bill go down. Not that it's that high to begin with, because I really don't use that much, but it should go down. Looking forward to that. There's a bill, and I don't remember which bill it is. It was one of, that requires voter approval on large projects. I just want to say that I feel that that could be very dangerous. I understand that the public needs to give input, but the public never really learns enough about what's needed and wanted to be able to make those decisions intelligently, in my opinion, at least not as a general rule. So I think that that could be a very dangerous thing for us ahead. And the last thing is the Pipeline Commission will be meeting here in this room on October 11th at 2 p.m. And that's all of the local agencies that are part of the Mojave Pipeline, the Morongo Basin Pipeline that comes down to here. So you're welcome to attend that. It's at 2 p.m.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one more thing real quick,
Okay.
and then you can go. Kurt, you said we could have the meeting on the 26th of September? That's a Monday?
Oh, how about
The week of,
the week of the 26th?
Okay.
How
And
about
that's
the-
also the presidential debates, the first debates?
How about the 28th? That's a Wednesday.
Yes.
Would that work for
Yeah.
everybody? Does that work?
Yeah, that works for me.
Kurt?
I'm fine with that.
You fine with that? You good with that? I'm good with that.
You can't do it?
Well, we have a seminar all day.
yeah, we'll make it work.
Okay, thank you. And I didn't attend any meetings this time. I have seen exactly what Director Reynolds was talking about, the water up in the Big Bear area, Lake Arrowhead, with all of the dry summer or fall that we're looking at and fire danger. It's really very, very discouraging for the residents up there. And as far as attaining our goals with water conservation, as it's been said, it's been very dry. I've had my swamp coolers, 2 of them, going almost, from dawn to late in the evening. So I think we've actually done a very good job. I'm sure I'm much as what most of the residents are doing, and that uses a lot of water. So do we have we're going to now go into closed session, conference with districts designated labor negotiators. And anything to say before we go into closed session?
No, just to make it official, this says Labor Negotiators Kurt Sauer, General Manager, and Susan Greer, Assistant General Manager. Sarah Johnson will be attending in lieu of Susan. And our Labor Counsel, Steve Berliner, will attend by phone pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6 regarding labor negotiations pertaining to the represented employees of the district union. And there won't be any reportable action.
Okay. So it's now 7:15. Do I have a motion?
I move that we
Second.
recess to the closed session.
And we have a second on that?
Aye.
Yeah, aye.
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 Meeting closed.